October 29th, 2022, 11:47 p.m. Grace Jennings' thumb hovers over the Instagram story reply button. The message from Isaac seems innocent enough. "You can crash in our garage tonight, no problem." She doesn't know she has exactly 19 hours left to live. She doesn't know that the person offering her shelter has been planning her death for 730 days. And she doesn't know that somewhere in that garage, wrapped in cloth beside a gaming console, lies the medieval sword that will end her life. Grace types back, "Thank you so much. On my way. Send." But we're getting ahead of ourselves. October 29th, 2022, 11:47 p.m. Grace's phone glows in the darkness of her car. She's been sitting in a parking lot for 40 minutes, scrolling through Instagram looking for literally anyone who might let her crash for the night. The fight with her fiancé felt apocalyptic 3 hours ago. Now it just feels stupid. Her thumb hovers over Isaac's message. She hasn't talked to him in years, not since they dated when she was 16 and he was 20. That relationship ended badly, the way most relationships between 16-year-olds and 20-year-olds do. But right now, she's got nowhere else to go. "You can crash in our garage tonight, no problem." She doesn't know that Isaac showed this message to Kiara before sending it. She doesn't know that Kiara smiled when she saw it. She doesn't know that the medieval sword is already unwrapped, leaning against the wall beside their bed, waiting. Grace types, "Thank you so much, on my way." She puts her car in drive. She has 19 hours to live, and she's going to spend most of them sleeping. 2016, 6 years earlier. There's a video that exists somewhere, maybe on a hard drive, maybe on a server, maybe deleted, but never really gone. Kiara McCully reported what happened that night to the Santa Fe Police Department, but the details remain sealed. What we know: Kiara was 14. There were multiple adult men. Money changed hands, and Grace Jennings, 12 years old at the time, was there. Kiara will tell the detective that Grace stood nearby collecting money. Grace's role, whether she was a victim herself, a witness frozen in trauma, or something else entirely, remains unclear. What matters is what Kiara believes. And Kiara believes Grace sold her. That video becomes the center of Kiara's universe. Not the memory of it, the video itself. The proof, the evidence, the thing that made it real. She watches it, she says, over and over. She studies Grace's face in the background. She tries to read her expression. Was she scared? Sorry? Indifferent? In Kiara's mind, the video starts to morph. She imagines different versions. In some, she's the one standing. In others, Grace is on the ground. The scenarios loop and mutate like a virus, spreading through her dreams, her waking thoughts, her entire conception of who she is. By the time she's 15, Kiara starts telling people she's a witch. By 16, she's keeping lists. By 19, she's planned 5 different ways to kill Grace Jennings. The Triangle, 2017. Here's how Isaac and Kiara meet, through Grace. Isaac is 21 now, still hung up on his ex-girlfriend who's barely 17. When Grace starts dating a girl named Kiara, Isaac is curious. He reaches out. They all hang out together, this weird triangle of exes and current partners, everyone pretending it's not awkward. Then Grace and Kiara break up, and somehow Isaac and Kiara end up together. Think about that geometry for a second. Isaac dates Grace. Grace dates Kiara. Then Isaac dates Kiara. It's not a love triangle. It's a love line, with Grace as the connecting point that neither of them can let go. Their relationship is built on shared damage. Kiara tells Isaac about the video. Isaac tells Kiara he once killed 40 people in Roswell when he was running with a gang. Neither story can be verified. Both might be complete fiction, but they believe each other, or pretend to, which amounts to the same thing. They get engaged, then unengaged, then back together, then apart. It's the kind of on-again, off-again relationship where the off periods are just intermissions between acts of the same play. By 2020, they're living in Isaac's mother's garage, sleeping on sheets they can't afford to replace, and Kiara starts talking about the plan. "What plan?" Isaac asks. "The plan for Grace," Kiara says, and then she smiles. Isaac doesn't stop her. He doesn't call anyone. He doesn't even really question it. He just listens. The messages. October 28, 2022, 11:23 p.m., 30 hours before the murder. The Facebook messages between Isaac and Kiara read like a script, like they're rehearsing, testing out the words to see how they sound, how they feel in their mouths. Kiara, maybe I should just come home and scare her on board right now. There's something chilling about that phrasing. Not scare her, but scare her on board, like they're trying to recruit Grace for her own murder. Isaac, dagger because it's blunt. Kiara, it cuts like butter, just going to stab the throat. They're discussing weapons like they're comparing kitchen knives, clinical, practical. The throat is a target. The dagger cuts like butter. These are technical specifications, not a human life. Isaac, instant. Kiara, or will it take long? She wants to know if Grace will suffer. He assures her it'll be quick, like he's promising good customer service. Kiara, what do we do about the mess? Isaac, we burn it and I'll buy new blankets and bed. They're already planning the cleanup. They're thinking about what comes after. New blankets, like they're redecorating. October 29, 2022, 10:17 p.m., 12 hours before the murder. Isaac, remember you'll move up the ranks. Plus you get perks in the black market since this is your first. This message is the one that will destroy Isaac in court. He's not just helping Kiara plan the murder, he's incentivizing it. He's turned killing into a reward system, like she's earning points in a video game. Kiara, her feet are on my side. I wish you'd make the first move for once. Grace's feet, that's what Kiara keeps coming back to. Grace is sleeping on an air mattress in their garage, and her feet are extending maybe 6 inches too far into Kiara's side of the room. This is what she'll use to justify murder. Territorial invasion, a few inches of physical space. Isaac, Huggle, I am wanting you to kill her. You have to end your suffering by ending her joy. Huggle is his pet name for her. He's telling her to commit murder, and he's making it sound like therapy, like self-care. End your suffering by ending her joy. The logic is psychopathic. Grace's happiness causes Kiara pain, therefore Grace must die. And Isaac is the one articulating this equation. Kiara, what is holding you back? Type it. She's challenging him, daring him to give her a reason not to do it. He doesn't. Isaac, just do it already.
The detective sits across from Kiara McCully. She's 19 years old, wearing blood-stained clothing, her hands cuffed to the table. She looks tired, small, almost childlike. Any idea why you're here today? The detective asks. I believe it's because somebody was found dead in my room, Kiara says. Her voice is flat, affectless. Where's your room at? In the garage. The detective leans back. Who are you talking to right now? Kiara blinks. My best guess is that I have DID. What's DID? Dissociative identity disorder. She says it carefully, like she's reciting from a textbook. I haven't had it actually diagnosed, but that's my best guess from my research. Here's where the performance begins. Kiara introduces her alternate personalities, one by one, like she's listing cast members. Abby, the protector, steps in during dangerous situations, very maternal. Jinx, the troublemaker, hates people, gets angry when people use her real name. Jess/Jessica, the one Kiara hasn't heard from in years, quiet, withdrawn. Little Kiara, the child version, vulnerable, dangerous to summon because she might get hurt. Froggy, the current host, the one speaking right now, also Kiara's stage name. The detective writes all this down, his pen scratching across the notepad. He doesn't challenge her, doesn't call bullshit, he just listens. Do you remember what happened this morning? Kiara says, there's a chunk missing. I woke up around 9 or 10. Next thing I remember is going to take a shower. Everything in between is gone. Do you think you killed Grace? I'm not sure. Kiara tilts her head, like she's consulting with someone invisible. I'm guessing. I know how angry I am at her, but what? But I've seen Isaac get violent before too. This is the dance they do for 3 hours. Kiara offers possibilities, never certainties. Maybe she did it. Maybe Isaac did it. Maybe one of her alternate personalities did it. Someone she hasn't even met yet. She describes her dreams about killing Grace. I've had like a bunch of murder dreams. Grace is the #1 person in them. How do you kill her in your dreams? Depends on the dream. Kiara's voice gets quieter. There are several dreams. In some, I'm reenacting what happened to me but making it worse, making her feel what I felt but amplified. The detective knows what she's referring to. The 2016 video. The assault. Grace, standing in the background. Has Isaac ever talked about killing Grace? He always had hope she'd be better than she was. Then, almost as an afterthought, has Isaac ever killed anyone? He said he did, but I don't know if it's true. Who did he say he killed? I don't know who, but there was a number. 40 people.
The detective's pen stops moving. 40 people. Supposedly. Yeah, Kiara shrugs. But I don't know if it's true. Could have been stupid teenager stuff. Oh, I killed this many people, that's so cool. Grace did that a lot too. By the end of the interrogation, the detective has learned 3 things. Kiara is either genuinely dissociating, or she's performing dissociation as a legal strategy. She's been dreaming about killing Grace for years. She and Isaac have been pointing fingers at each other since the moment they were separated. But he still doesn't have a confession, not a real one. That's going to come from Isaac's phone. Isaac Apodaca sits in the chair, his leg bouncing under the table, his hands clasped together. He looks exhausted, traumatized. Exactly how you'd expect someone to look after witnessing a brutal murder. The detective slides a folder across the table. "We got a warrant for your phone," he says. "Want to tell me about these messages?" Isaac's face goes pale. The detective reads them aloud, one by one, watching Isaac squirm. "Dagger because it's blunt." "What does that mean, Isaac?" "She was asking me about the difference between a dagger and a sword. I was just answering her question." "Just gonna stab the throat, instant." "What's that about?" "She was talking about a thought, like stabbing a thought in her head. It's metaphorical." The parents. Isaac's mother, Teresa Apodaca, sits in the station's lobby, waiting. When the detective comes out and tells her that Isaac is being charged with first-degree murder, she breaks down. "No," she says. "No, he didn't do anything. He witnessed it. He called me. He was scared for his life." "Ma'am, we have messages." "She's dangerous. Everyone knows Kiara is violent. She threatened him with knives. She posts these horrible videos. She calls herself a witch." Teresa pulls out her phone, showing the detective Kiara's Instagram. Video after video of disturbing content. Kiara lip-syncing to audio about killing people. Kiara performing rituals. Kiara staring dead-eyed into the camera. One video, posted October 26th, shows Kiara mouthing the words, "Can we all take a moment of silence to acknowledge the fact that despite everything, I have yet to turn into a serial killer?" 3 days before the murder. "She's sick," Teresa insists. "She manipulated my son. He's a victim too." The detective slides a printed message across the table. "Huggle, I am wanting you to kill her. You have to end your suffering by ending her joy." That's from your son to Kiara. That's him telling her to commit murder. Teresa stares at the page. Her hands start to shake. "He was scared," she whispers, but there's no conviction left in her voice. She's reading the words. She knows what they mean. "I'm sorry," the detective says, and he means it. The Reckoning. February 2025. Sentencing. Kiara McCully stands before the judge in an orange jumpsuit, her hair pulled back, her face expressionless. She pleads guilty to aggravated second-degree murder, conspiracy to commit first-degree murder. In exchange, she agrees to testify against Isaac. The prosecutor argues for 30 years, double the standard sentence, citing the brutality of the killing. The judge agrees. As the bailiff leads her away, someone in the gallery whispers, "Which personality is going to prison?" His defense team argues that he was a victim of Kiara's manipulation, that he feared for his own life, that he never actually wanted Grace to die. The prosecution has a simpler argument. They read the messages aloud. "Remember, you'll move up the ranks. This is your first. I am wanting you to kill her. Just do it already." The jury will decide if words can kill, if planning a murder is the same as committing one, if being caught in the middle absolves you when someone dies. Grace Jennings. Grace Jennings was 23 years old. She liked art. She played guitar. She was engaged to be married. She had a complicated past with complicated people, the way most 23-year-olds do. The night before she died, she had a fight with her fiancé. It was stupid, something small that felt enormous at midnight. She posted on Instagram asking if anyone had a place she could crash. Someone responded. Someone who'd been waiting for exactly this moment for 2 years. Someone who'd planned 5 different ways to kill her. Someone who saw Grace's request for help as an opportunity. The last thing Grace Jennings did was ask for shelter. She trusted people who'd been fantasizing about her death since 2020. She slept in a garage with a sword on the wall and didn't know it was meant for her. She woke up to violence and fought back, but it wasn't enough. And when she died, when the sword finally stopped rising and falling, the 2 people responsible had to decide what to do next. Isaac called his mother. Kiara smiled and said, "I did it." In the end, this story isn't about mental illness or gang violence or black market conspiracies. It's about 2 people who spent so long telling themselves stories that they forgot stories weren't supposed to be real. They created a shared delusion, a fantasy world where murder solved problems, where violence was justified, where Grace's death would somehow end their suffering. And then, on October 30th, 2022, they made the fantasy real. Grace Jennings, December 7th, 1998, October 30th, 2022. She asked for help. She deserved better.